What's going on, Chiefs Chat? Welcome back to an impromptu Thursday night Chiefs Chat episode with yours truly, Thunder Dan, here to report the football news that is. Yesterday we talked about Rashee Rice's suspension. We talked about Nadi coming back. We talked about Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming back. We talked about guys we didn't expect to be cut, and getting on the practice roster, like Big Bob Tunyon. Now, it appears the world's football minds have been broken because Micah Parsons is no longer a Dallas Cowboy. Micah Parsons is, in fact, going to the Green Bay Packers. A la what's being spoken about in the chat there by Go Home Heole. Reggie White trade all over again. Yeah, Reggie White went from the Eagles, from the NFC East to the, I don't know if they were called the East then. I can't remember what they were called then, if it was the same. My brain's fried right now, but went from the NFC East to the NFC North. Such as what's happening with Micah Parsons. Now, Reggie White and Micah Parsons are not the same type of athlete. Reggie was a monster. Reggie was a monster in the day when everybody's motor never stopped. You either had a motor like that or you didn't play in the league. Now guys take plays off all the time. Guys, their motivations or questions are sometimes it's about the mighty dollar, but back then you were a monster of the midway or you were gone. But we've seen a trade like this before. We've seen a trade like this before with this very franchise, these very Cowboys. Not only do the Dallas Cowboy football fans and the Dallas fans in general not have the Dallas Texans, a.k.a. Kansas City Chiefs, to kick around anymore. They don't have Micah Parsons to kick around anymore. And one thing no one's talking about that I've heard is once upon a time, just about 36 years ago, 36 years this October, the Dallas Cowboys had a studly, strong, athletic player, 26 years old, who's considered a foundation piece for the franchise. Unreleasable, untradeable, inexpendable. And he was traded to the NFC North, to the Minnesota Vikings, and his name was Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker, who had just come off of a really good season. He was one of the top 3 running backs in the league that year. He, Eric Dickerson, and my brain's escaping me, Roger Craig, that's who it was, had all gone over 2,000 yards from scrimmage, all in the 1,600-yard rushing range and the high 4, low 500-yard receiving range. The only backs to do that season. And Herschel was only 26. And they traded him. Now, they traded him for a boatload of picks and a boatload of players. It was a much bigger numbers trade than this. But 2 firsts and a starting defensive tackle in this day and age is kind of close to what that was like back then. And the trade of the player, everyone looked at that back then. I remember. I was youngin', but I remember. What are you doing? You got like a building block offensive player who's a beast, who's nearly unstoppable, who's great in the run game, stud since he left Georgia, stud in the USFL, stud in the NFL. Let's take a look at what this kid was capable of back then. We can look at some tape from young Herschel Walker. We're going to go ahead and give it a little sound effects in the background. He was fast. He was thick. He was hard to bring down. 6'1", 225 pounds. He was explosive. 3, 2, 1, go. Bye-bye. He was everything you wanted in a football player. Especially a ball-carrying guy. Now this is the other side of the ball, obviously. This is offense, not defense. That same play over again. This just shows his tackle ability. 1, get off. 2, get off. 3, get off. I'm not out of bounds yet. 4, get off. Okay, glide out of bounds. And they traded this guy away. Suffice it to say, Cowboy fans were none too pleased. They wanted to run the ball. They wanted to play hard-nosed offense. best guys in the league are doing it. And oh yeah, he can catch the ball in the backfield as well. And then take off like a rocket. Get off me. Guys that have been dead to rights. Let's go ahead and look at his numbers, shall we? Take a look at some of his numbers. Herschel Walker. Well, first of all, let's take a look at the comparison between the top three running backs that season, which was why everyone was so surprised. Eric Dickerson had 1,659 yards rushing, and then he added enough to put him over 2,000 yards receiving, total, or scrimmage yards, rather. Herschel had 1,514 yards. Roger Craig had 1,502. The next closest guy was in the 1,200s. Roger was 28. Eric Dickerson was 28. Herschel was 26. You're trading away the youngest 2,000 scrimmage yard back, 1,500 yard rushing back in a 16-game season. You're trading him away from the Dallas Cowboys. People were not happy. Pro Bowls, AP player, MVP votes, Offensive Player of the Year votes. I mean, obviously that went to Eric Dickerson, but Herschel Walker was the bomb, and they traded him away. In what turned out to be, and I'm thinking that this could do the same thing, it turned out to be the foundations, those players, not so much the players as they picked, but the draft picks that they used after that turned into the foundation of the dynasty of the Cowboys Super Bowl run back in the day, back in the 90s. They traded him in 1989, and we all know what happened shortly thereafter. Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson turned that franchise into a Super Bowl championship winning team 3 to 4 years. Barry Switzer slid in there for a little backdoor action on the last one. Took Jimmy's team and won one. But nobody expected that trade to happen, and when it did happen, everybody thought it was crazy, and it turned out to be great for the Cowboys. Now, Herschel Walker didn't go on to have amazing, great success at the Vikings because the Vikings wasn't as good a team. Simple as that. I don't know why this is getting all minimized on me here. Okay, let's see here. This is my... So that's a weird thing. I've never seen that happen before. Interesting. That just closed out. There we go. Say I closed out all my windows except for the one I wanted to close. This is the only one I want to close. Right there. Go back down here. Herschel Walker's season that year, he had, like I said, he had 1,514 yards rushing and 505 yards receiving. He was a star player, Pro Bowl player, amazing running back. It would be like trading Priest Holmes in the middle of his prime, trading him away for draft picks. So people were shocked. No one's talking about that in that context. Everyone's talking about it like, oh no, Micah Hyde is inexpendable. How could you do that? It's not. This isn't a guy you can afford to trade away. And I'm like, I don't see it that way at all. And that's no offense to him. No offense to Micah Hyde, the player. Micah Hyde's a very good player. Micah Hyde's 4-season run so far. Let's take a look at his stats in his sack category, because your primary job, defensive end, is get the quarterback on the ground. We all know that. 13 sacks coming into the league, 13 and a half the next year, 14 the year after that, and then 12 last year. Okay, that's great. That's wonderful. That's fantastic. How many of those years has he led the league in sacks? Well, last year the leader was Trey Hendrickson with 17 and a half. Micah was number 7. Wasn't top 5, let alone top 3. Nick Benito for Denver had more than him. Kyle Vanoy for Baltimore had more than him. And, of course, Myles Garrett had 14. The year before that, let's take a look there. 2023, TJ Watt led the league with 19. There's Trey Hendrickson again, 17 and a half. And Josh Hines, Allen, Khalil Mack, Daniil Hunter, Max Crosby, Myles Garrett. There's Micah at number 8. 8th in the league. What about the year before that? The year before that, a little bit of a down season for Trey Hendrickson. He's not in the top 10 that year. His defense was really shattered that year. Just wasn't doing the same things they'd been doing, even though they were a good team. Myles Garrett was number 2. Nick Bosa led the league. Then Myles Garrett, Hassan Reddick, Chris Jones, that's right. Matthew Judon, Alex Highsmith, and there's Micah Parsons at number 7. What about 2021, his first year in the league? How did Micah Parsons do that year? Must have led the league that year. No, TJ Watt. Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn, there's a name from Blast from the Past. Myles Garrett again. Nick Bosa again. Trey Hendrickson again. And then Micah Parsons at number 6. And then the year before he came into the league, who was doing well that year? TJ Watt, Aaron Donald, Trey Hendrickson again. Zadarius Smith, 12.5 sacks for those same Green Bay Packers. Around the time they had Zadarius Smith, they had 2 guys on the team that year that were double-digit sacks. I'm not sure what the get is in that people think a 12, 13 sack a year guy is going to change the franchise. I'm not saying he's not a great athlete. Everyone in the NFL is. He has some special moments. But the guy that they said didn't deserve the contract he deserved was Trey Hendrickson. And all Trey Hendrickson did is been top of the league for 4 out of the last 5 years, including back-to-back 17.5 sack seasons. If I'm Jerry Jones, I'm on the phone with the Bengals saying, how about we give you one of those firsts and a second-round pick, and you slide Trey Hendrickson over to us, and we'll worry about his contract. Just slide him over. He's 30. You don't want him. He's going to be 31 this season. You don't want him. If he gets 2 17.5 sack seasons for Dallas, you think they don't get their money's worth? Let's watch some of their play. Maybe that's what I'm missing. I see the numbers. 13, 13.5, 14, 12. Okay, what did Trey do in the last 5 years? And we just went over it in those StatMuse findings, obviously. I don't know why the internet's working like a snail tonight. I'm going to go ahead and close the StatMuse windows. Maybe that'll help. Everything's working a little bit slow tonight. It's a little bit weird. I'm going to close some stuff down on my computer desktop. Maybe that'll give us a little grace. Exit that. Close that window. Close that window. Close some more StatMuse windows. This never happens. Of course I want to do a prime time premium additional, let's add a show in there for you guys. And everything's got to kind of shit the bed. The point is, I don't understand Dallas going full-blown reset. Do you think so? I don't think so. I think Dallas is looking at this going, this could be something. Jerry Jones is not a young cat. He's owned this team for a very long time. And he's owned them at their best heights. And maybe, just maybe, the wily old GM/owner is looking at this going, hey, looky here. Micah Parsons has notable injury history, primarily including a high ankle sprain in 2024 that cost him to miss 4 games. His rookie year, he missed week 18 with COVID. There's also some back tightness in late 2024. Back tightness in a defensive end that's undersized, and he is undersized. He's under 250, playing a prime rush position against huge men that play the tackle spots. Back injuries are not fun. Maybe he's looking at it like, well, wasn't there a guy on Kansas City a little while ago? You fans out there, you know who I'm talking about. Justin Houston. Had his first season, 5.5 sacks. Second season, 10 sacks. Third season, 11 sacks. Pay me. Fourth season, 22 sacks. Pay me. Oh, they paid him $110 million. He got hurt that season. He was 7.5 sacks into his season. Week 11, gets leg whipped by Ron Parker, diving in and trying to make a tackle. Gets his ACL torn. Never the same guy. Had some good seasons, 9.5 sacks, 11 sacks, 8 sacks. Some of those were with Indy, some of those were with us. But never the same guy. Was never going to be a 20-sack guy again, and they had just backed up the friggin' Brinks truck to the guy. Maybe Jerry's going, you know what? Justin Houston was 25, just turned 26 when he hurt his leg. Injuries happen to these guys. What if I can trade Micah Parsons to, I don't know, an NFC North team and get a bunch of good draft picks for him and build this franchise up the way we should? Because to say that he's the difference maker in Green Bay, what you're suggesting is that this young man, Dak Prescott, 2 evolutions of Ezekiel Elliott, whatever running backs they had there besides him, that offensive line that they had for a number of years, Galladay, Amari Cooper, and CeeDee Lamb, and the tight ends that they've gone through. All those guys were holding him back from winning a championship. That's what you're saying. You're saying he wasn't part of the problem. Ultimately, the Dallas Cowboys are better if they got rid of him. Any other team that gets him is going to be a Super Bowl contender because everybody's just crowning Green Bay now, saying Green Bay plus Micah Parsons, look out. Green Bay had 2 double-digit sack guys when Zadarius Smith was there. Can't remember who the other one was right now. I'm not a Green Bay Packer player follower all the time, but they had 2 guys. They had bookends. They didn't win anything. You still got to score. You still got to get past great defenses in the championship games and in the Super Bowl. Never got to a Super Bowl. But Micah Parsons is going to be the difference. Okay, well, maybe he just carries defenses. Maybe that's what it is. Well, I went and looked at some of the stats, and I said, well, let's look at, last year. Last year, he had 12 sacks. Odigizua had 4.5. Mozzie Smith had 1. Chauncey Golston had 5.5. Eric Kendricks had 3. DeMarvion Overshawn had 5. Jordan Lewis had 1. And Donovan Wilson had 4.5. So they had 5, 10, 11, 12, 15, 24.5 sacks besides the 12 that Micah Parsons gave them. And we know how the Cowboys did last year. And how did Trey Hendrickson do last year? Because, Trey Hendrickson's supposedly, to the experts' eye, not as good or much of an impact player as Micah Parsons. Trey Hendrickson had 17.5 sacks last season. How did his teammates do? He had 1 guy, Sam Hubbard, with 2. Chris Jenkins, the rookie at the time, had 3. B.J. Hill had 3. And he got a half a sack from Cam Taylor-Britt. That's it. 5, 6, 7, 8. 8.5 sacks. He had 17.5, despite the fact he had nearly no help. What about the season before? It's probably a lot closer to the season before. The season before, Trey Hendrickson had, let's check that out first, because we already looked at the first season with Micah Parsons, or last season with Micah Parsons. Sam Hubbard had 6. DJ Reader had 1. B.J. Hill with 4.5, so we're already talking 11.5 sacks. 12.5, you had Logan Wilson. 13, 14.5 with Jermaine Pratt. 15.5 with DJ Turner. 16.5, 17 with Daxton Hill. 17 sacks. The rest of the team had 17 sacks. Trey Hendrickson had 17.5 himself. Let's take a look at our young man, Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons had 14 sacks the year before in 2024. Sorry, 2023 going into 2024. DeMarcus Lawrence had 4. Jonathan Hankins had 3. Odigizua had 3. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10. So they had 10. He had 14. It's a little more balanced. But you had DeMarcus Lawrence. You had Jonathan Hankins. You had Odigizua. You had Damon Clark. You had Leighton Vander Esch when he was healthy, whenever that was. Stephon Gilmore was on that team, working on the back end. You had a couple interceptions from your safety, Donovan Wilson. You had a defense that was more formidable, I would argue, than the Cincinnati Bengals defense. And the fact that last year alone, 17.5 sacks to 8.5 for the rest of his team for Trey Hendrickson, and people were talking like he was a piece of hot garbage. When Micah Parsons had fewer sacks, even though he had 24.5 sacks around him. I'm not sure what people are looking at besides skin color when they're making these decisions, but Trey Hendrickson deserved a big contract, as did Micah Parsons. I don't think either one of them deserves $35 million a year, which is, you're getting crazy numbers now, where it's going to be hard to field teams when you have 3 or 4 guys making that kind of money. Half your budget's gone and 4 players, and then you still got to get 49 more. That's a little nuts. But he deserved a good contract. Now he's going to get $188 million to go play for the Packers. Let's look at his tape. Maybe it's just undeniably amazing on tape. We've all seen him play. He's a great player. Covered sack. Tipped the ball for interception. That's great. Let's check it out. Keep it rolling. Same play. that tackle for his teammate. It's Baltimore. Runner fell down, cleans it up. This is a good play here. This is all him in the backfield. Penetration, gets the runner, you're going nowhere. Gets a little help pulling him down. Again, he's only 235, 245 max. I think he's 235. We'll say 245 to be generous. That's a coverage sack. Right at the line of scrimmage. Coverage sack, first fumble. Nice. But you're seeing a lot of coverage sacks. You're seeing a lot of coverage sacks, a lot of plays where it takes time. It takes time. It takes time. He gets in there. This one's just pure athleticism. Let me chase him down. Didn't get there to force the errant throw for sure. You did not get the setup. Good rush, good hustle. Here's another fast quarterback. Check, check. Gotcha on the backside. Good job. Next one, penetration. Push past him and then makes the sack. That's a good job. That's the best one I've seen yet. There's all him. Let's reverse the same play. This one's a clean-up sack. Teammate got a hold of him and finishes it off. 6 is a clean-up sack. That's Wilson. I think they got half each. Drew Lock, he was already going down. We got here. Try to push him past. Pull that down. Bad decision. Here you go. Beat your man right off the line. Oh, nice. Good job. So we get the idea. He's a very good player. It's unarguable. He is a very good player. Now let's watch Trey Hendrickson. First bit's going to hurt a little bit, Chief fans. I'm not going to lie. First bit is against us. Dario Miller, good to see you, sir. Great point, Thunder. I like the point that point of view. Jerry may end up winning this trade after all. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Dario, good to see you, buddy. Don't get me wrong. I hope Hendrickson has been a beast. I hope that it goes well for Micah Parsons and the Green Bay Packers. I don't wish them poorly. I'm just thinking that maybe Jerry's a little smarter on this one than people think. It was made to seem, by all accounts on Micah Parsons' side, that this was irreconcilable differences between him and the team. He did not want to be there anymore. If you can take that and turn that into 2 first-rounders and a starting defensive tackle, I would love to pair up next to Chris Jones and Kenny Clark. Sign me up. And they still could use one of those picks, a first-rounder, maybe a second-rounder along with it, and go get Trey Hendrickson right now. They could probably get him right now. I'm like, if that happens, the Cowboys absolutely won this, and then they got another extra first-round pick left over. Let's watch a bit of his plays against us. This is going to suck. This is all leverage. This is all him. Trey just pushes me up the field. Our man. That's what 270 can do. Another one. Gotta watch another one. That's inside rip. Just, I don't like seeing that club come down on our quarterback. It makes me unhappy to see that. Watch it one more time real quick and then we'll cut it off. And there's the arm. Okay, let me see it from 3 angles. Here it is against those Bengals. Rips right through 2 guys. He gets there quick, folks. Okay. Of course, there's got to be some guy in a commercial. Fellow actor. Look at him split the defense here. Or split the offense, rather. So push through the outside, leverage you, and then cut through the guard. He's a problem. You see that? See who gets his hand on that ball? Just show it close up. Hang on. Here he comes. Hand up and slip. There Let's go at the back end of that ball for you. Another one. Just get off me, tackle. Let me get your quarterback. And he doesn't need help getting the quarterback on the ground. He just does it. He's a self-service individual. Seriously, not going to take the tackles to take the slide. No. He's shoving out of the way. I got you, Daniel Jones. Not a small quarterback. 6'5", 235 pounds. He's now a Colts. He's starting for the Colts, and he should be. That's just not fun. Let me get you on the side now. He's like, what's up? Yeah, what's up? I see you. He's rocking back already in his stance. He's going to get beat. He still gets beat. Oh. Not for nothing. It's not just the 91. I watch his style of play. He's more reminiscent of Tom Bahali to me than Micah Parsons' speed rushes and adjusts and his delay. He's got good patience. He waits for things to happen sometimes and lets things develop. But just sheer power coming off the line and angles and bending. This guy, Trey, reminds me a lot more of Tom Bahali, which I really like. Boom. Wasted that time with a division rival. Outside. Yep. And we go. Are we getting close to the end zone? I don't think so. He hits you so hard in the ball that you fall down. The momentum you're trying to stay on your feet. Against the Raiders, I like this. Ooh, holding me. You're holding me, tackle, but I'm still going to get back. Doesn't matter if hold by the tackle. His teammate goes down. I'd like the Bengals to get a game as much. He's been so long the last few years. He's a big part of that. So I think you get the picture. You get out of the cross. Oof. Oh, down you go, right back. Putting you on the ground. Bookend too for watching after we watched Patrick Day a couple times. And let's go for a ride. That's only halfway through the year. He's got 70 and a half of these. Let's get the Raiders quarterback again. Just bench presses, incline presses the tackle into the ground. The first pancake. And you're the oof, baby. Well, let's go get 4 minutes in. Whoa. Down go. And let's throw it. Freaking strip sack. Hitter. just patiently shaves down the line to make sure you're not going anywhere running back. Line of scrimmage, and that's it. Let me just sit on you for good measure. And the Steelers, you know, he's got to hate them. Keeps the tackle off of him. Keeps the quarterback in front of him and puts him on the ground. Let's watch one more. Checks him off. Armbar. That was a team effort. Let's see one more solo. Oh, he just sheds the tackle. Takes Russell Wilson to the ground. It's okay. This guy can play football. Let's go back to the screen there. Guys, this could be a great trade for both teams. This could be a great move for both teams. Gary Holland, good to see you in the chat, sir. Let's see what else we got here. Can't hear you, Thunder. Music's too loud. Oh, okay, sorry. You're not missing much. I'm just talking about what the plays we were watching where I'm trying to keep the noise down because my daughter's sleeping. Great point, but okay. Chiefs will be aired for free on YouTube Friday. That'll be fantastic. Since they're sticking our team in South America, which annoys the crap out of me. It's the defending AFC champions who lost the Super Bowl, who want to be playing here in front of their fans in North America, in America. Let's just be straight about it. In the United States of America, where our game is from. And they take our first game and put it in South America. Screw you, Roger Goodell. Send the Jags and Titans down there for week 1. Let them go and be ambassadors for the NFL. Let our team play on their home soil. Anyway, I digress. It's annoying to me. Maybe they wanted that. Maybe Clark Hunt wanted that. I don't know. But, yeah, it'd be good to see it on YouTube. I'm sure they'll be trying to sell us YouTube TV the whole time. Look at that stash. Oh, if you guys don't know, I have a film coming up in October, so I'm letting the beard grow and gray as much as I can, trying to get it nice and bushy for this character. Got 3 commercials out right now. Movie coming out on Lifetime in the fall. I'll share the info with you guys as that comes along. But in the meantime, how do you guys feel? Let me know in the chat. How do you guys feel about our wide receiving core? How do you feel about our final 53? Well, the current iteration of our final 53. Let's pull it up right now and just go over it again real quick, because I'm feeling pretty damn good. I feel like whichever version we roll out there, and I know it's going to change. You know, players are going to change. Players are going to come and players are going to go. Our current roster. What is this? This is weird. Why is there German all over my Chiefs page here? Chiefs.com. Let's get rid of all that stuff. I just want Chiefs.com. There we go. It's giving me the schedule. I want the roster. Where's the roster button? Juwan Taylor getting the opportunity to go play across the world is always fun. Okay, that's great. That's wonderful. That's not what season ticket holders pay for, and that's not what we want as far as homegrown fans. I don't want the games to be all over the world. I want them to be here in this time, in this age, when we've gone through so many years of the Chiefs not being great. I want to see as many games on home soil as we can. Call me selfish. Don't mind admitting it. The wide receiving core right now, without Rashee Rice, we're going to have Xavier Worthy, Tyquan Thornton, Juju Smith-Schuster. The always forgotten Juju. I always forget to place Juju in there. He's going to be such a key player for us for the first little while. Jalen Royals I'm concerned about because he said he was hurt. He was nicked up. I'm not sure what the latest is. I'll be checking that out again. We got a week before the game, so hopefully he'll be ready to rock and roll by then. Let's see here. Schedule. Open that link in a new tab. So obviously we are... It's considered a Chargers home game. So we're at the Chargers. Okay, and that's going to be on the 5th of September. So that's next week. And then we're back home on Sunday the 14th against the Philadelphia Eagles. That's going to be huge. Huge, massive game. Then we're at New York with their plethora of quarterbacks. That'll be interesting. And then at home against Baltimore. So going into Week 5 against the Jacksonville Jaguars, if we can be undefeated in Week 5, that's huge. That's already 2 AFC games in the bag, including one against our division rivals, and we'd have an edge on Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Eagles. just feeling that win, having that win against them, and we'd have one against the Baltimore Ravens, which is huge for that AFC Championship run, which we want to extend that. Because as we all know, it's AFC Championship or bust for the Kansas City Chiefs at the very least. And in most cases, it's Super Bowl or bust. That's what we really want. Doesn't get easier after that. We got Jacksonville, then we're at home against Detroit, at home against Vegas, at home against Washington, then we're at Buffalo, have our bye week, at the Broncos, at home against the Colts, at the Cowboys, at home against the Texans, at home against the Chargers, which is December the 14th, at the Tennessee Titans, and then home against the Broncos on Christmas, and then at the Vegas Raiders, and it doesn't say the date. It says TBD, which I don't understand why that's TBD. That's weird. But that's what it is right now. Anyway, I don't know if there's scheduling stuff going on in Vegas at that time that they got to figure out. But in the meantime, the first few weeks of the season, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but our receiving core is going to be Xavier Worthy, Tyquan Thornton, Juju Smith-Schuster, Nico Remigio, Jason Brownlee, and Hollywood Brown will all definitely be ready to go. Jared Wiley, Travis Kelce, Noah Gray at tight ends. Can they bring up Robert Tonyan? Can they bring up another receiver? Let's see who we have on the practice squad. So Bringenstool's still on the injured reserve, along with obviously Felix Dion Bush, Brandon George, linebacker, Najee Johnson still on there, and Janarius Robinson with the foot. Ethan Driscoll, another tackle, is also on the non-football illness. Our practice squad, we could potentially bring up Robert Tonyan. And the only other offensive weapons we have are Trey Watson, another backup tight end. Carson Steele's back on the practice squad. I'm glad to see that. And Hal Presley, who I don't know anything about, wide receiver, 6'3", 210 out of Baylor. So we don't really have a lot of wide receiver flexibility, but we do have a lot of wide receivers on the 53-man roster. The problem is Rashee Rice is suspended for 6 weeks, and Jalen Rose, I don't know if he's going to be injured or not for that first game. If he's not, to have Jalen, Juju, Tyquan, and Xavier, and Hollywood Brown. I mean, and then at the running back spot, we have Pacheco, Elijah Mitchell can catch out of the backfield. Kareem Hunt can catch out of the backfield. Pacheco's decent at catching out of the backfield. Bashard Smith could line up with the receiving core package. He could line up in the backfield and then rotate out, and it could become 5 wide like that. 5 wide plus Travis Kelce. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like 4. It's 3 wide. It's 2 wide receivers and a tight end, or 3 wide receivers and a tight end. Then you throw him out there. That's 5 wide, including Travis Kelce. Then you got your, quarterback in your line, in our line with Simmons. I'm excited. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a 50-plus touchdown and 5,000-yard-plus season for Patrick Mahomes for the second time in his career. First time he did, he was 23, which is insane, just crazy. Gary Holland says, I feel really good with receivers. We'll be good, and the 53-man roster is 9 out of 10. I think so. I think that's about right. Definitely no Rice, Dario. Definitely no Rice. Good to see y'all. I just wanted to bring this to you guys, bring this to your attention. Micah Parsons goes to the Packers. Good for them. Who won the deal? Let me know in the chat. Who do you think won the trade? Go home. Hale says, I trust Veach. So do I. So do I. He's always got those gotta reach Veach picks every once in a while in the draft. But overall, I mean, how this guy's not in the running between him and Howie Roseman for executive of the year every year, I don't understand. How Andy Reid hasn't won coach of the year at least a couple of times in the last 5 years is a disgrace, an unmitigated disgrace against this league. This is just bullshit. It's not a second place trophy. You either are the best coach here or not. And Andy Reid is one of the best coaches in the history of the NFL. Arguably the best. Only one to do everything he's done with 2 separate franchises and 2 separate conferences. Insane success. Massive disrespect. Oh, yeah, but around the league they talk well about... Yeah, they talk good about a lot of guys. Show me the gold. Show me the trophy. Show me the hardware. Show some respect. That's how you show respect. Andy doesn't care. I don't really care. I just want the wins, and I want to keep doing what he does. Why did they bring back CEH? Because he was on the street. because the New Orleans Saints couldn't figure out how to use him, I guess, or didn't feel like he was worth having in the building. But they brought him back, and I didn't see him on the roster. I don't know if this thing's not been updated or what, but I thought he was assigned to the directly to the roster. I don't see him on. Let me see if I can check on the NFL, on the ESPN roster, rather. Hang on one second. Chiefs roster, ESPN. Because they know Clyde, they love Clyde. He knows the system, he knows the offense. Pass pro, he'd be huge in the first couple of weeks. So on here, on ESPN, it says the regular roster is Kareem Hunt, Elijah Mitchell, Pacheco, Brashard Smith are the only running backs listed. Wide receivers, Hollywood, Brownlee, Remigio, Rice, Royals, Schuster, Thornton, Worthy. So that's 8. Then you get your 4 tight ends. Gray, Kelsey, Tunyon is listed on here, and Wiley. Interesting. Tunyon's listed on the starting. Well, maybe they're just doing the whole roster here. No, they only have Mahomes and Minshew listed as on there as quarterbacks. So Oladokin's got to be listed on the practice squad. Noddy's listed on the roster. Noddy, Tillery, Norman Lott, and Chris Jones at defensive tackle, defensive end. Menahu, Karloftis, Herring, Jalot, and Mike Dana, the ever famous Mike Dana. Injury reserve are out. Practice squad, Oladokin. Yeah, Clyde's on there. Clyde's on the practice squad. So is Carson Steele. Jimmy Holiday, he's back on there. Okay, that's good. That's good to see. So I must have not an updated practice squad. But yeah, we have, Trey Watson, Jimmy Holiday, Carson Steele, Clyde. They could bring any one of those guys up. Apparently they moved somebody down because they brought, I wonder who it is they moved down, because they brought this, according to this, at least, Robert Tunyon's on the starting list, which would be great. Because what he was doing as a weapon in the offense, I mean, just color me chuckled and pleased if he's out there with that explosive offense. Big Bob and Travis and 6'6" Jared Wiley and our teeny tiny 6'3", 240-pound teeny tiny tight end Noah Gray. Yeah, tons of speed in Thornton and Xavier Worthy. Juju ripping him up inside and outside. Jason Brownlee, the catches he made in the preseason. The people are bagging on our running back group. I don't understand what their problem is, because you give me Kareem Hunt, who's still plugging along, Elijah Mitchell, who was underutilized last year, so it means rested when he wasn't nicked up, and Isaiah Pacheco, and I got a great running back group, and then you add Brashard Smith with his receiving and speed. I can do a lot of damage with those 4 guys. Just give Andy a chance. I'm sure he's going to come up with some crazy stuff. You'd like to see a Menahu ball the hell out this year, so would I. No suspension, no more injuries, finally healthy. I think he was saving it up. I pity the fool in the LA Chargers roster who thinks that he's going to be an easy get this season, or this week, especially this first week coming up. It's going to be an interesting game. I've got them in my survival pool. I've got my Chiefs week 1. Just getting out of the way. Let's just do it week 1. They're not. If they lose week 1 to the Chargers, I'll be concerned. I'll be concerned, because it'll mean that the last game of the preseason was a total anomaly. That nothing was real. Because we saw Patrick Mahomes going up top. We saw the run blockers run block, and we saw guys protecting the passer. That's the team. If they come out of the gates like that in real regular season football, everybody's on notice. The Chiefs are back. The Chiefs are going to be explosive. The Chiefs are going to put up points. I want to see a 40-burger week 1. Tell me what you guys think in the chat. What do you think the score is going to be? We'll do a proper scoring next week, but if you guys want to throw it up there, if you're feeling ballsy, if you're feeling like you got it in you, I want to see Andy don't get the gas pedal off in Brazil, 42-17. That's what I want to see. I want to see a shellacking. 42-17. If Herbert goes off, 42-28. But I want to see 42-17. I want to see us kick their butts all the way up and down that Brazilian stadium. We'll see what happens. I think our defense is going to be ready to rock and roll. Those guys are excited. Chargers 24-38. I like the way you think, Gary Holland. I like that. I take that too. But I do want that. I would love that 40 burger. We all know Andy, and we know Andy likes to take his foot off the gas pedal, so maybe not. But here's the thing now. We put our backup in. If it's a blowout, we're about to witness an all-time year, according to Go Home. Hale, I believe you could be right. I'd be excited to see that. You put, from what I saw in the preseason, I know it's only preseason, but from what I've seen in his career as well, Gardner Minshew has never been surrounded by a team this talented, and that dude likes to flick the ball. He likes to throw it. The closest he had to that was the Eagles a couple years ago as his backup. He likes to throw that friggin' football all over the yard. He's going to compete when he gets in there. He's going to try to put up points. So if Patrick's on the sideline because it's 35-10 in the fourth quarter, early in the fourth quarter, don't be surprised if Minshew puts up 14 or helps put up 10 and gets us over a 40 burger. Because even just dialing it back, we could score 10 points with the way the offense was moving late in the preseason. If that's the real team we see. Minshew Madness, Jorts 2.0, Jorts to the power of 2. Him and Patrick, they got to do a calendar, and they got to have like the month of May, call it month of maybe. Have them both back to back with a big cheese hoodie on like this and a pair of jorts, like we put on like tough faces. Maybe Patrick will put on a fake Fu Manchu or something, or maybe he'll grow one. They both have like big old mustaches. I'm being cheesy. It's late. I'm tired. What can I tell you? Again, look out for my Smart Asset commercial. Look out for my Pilot Flying J commercial. Look out for my Avantis Golf commercial. Look up Avantis Golf commercial. Bogey Lawn, and you'll see it where I'm an explorer. It's silly. It's funny. They're fun. Other than that, movie coming out in the fall. Movie filming this October. I will try to do shows from the hotel, but I'm going to be in the Appalachian Mountains, so I don't know what the signal's going to be like. But your boy's getting busy again on film and television. It's getting rolling again. Apparently the white guy's back. Apparently we're allowed to play again. I don't know. They changed the rules on me after an 18-year career and said just go take a break for a minute because we're going to let everybody else play and you got to sit down because, you don't meet the right curriculum, which is retarded because I grew up. You guys know, I grew up on the res. I'm part Native American. I had the credentials, supposedly, to be part of the team and get to play, and always looked out for people that were less fortunate, and that was just the way I lived my life, and then was put on that block of, you're probably this way because you look a certain way. Don't love that. Don't like that. Don't care for it. Looks like it's starting to get in the rearview mirror because work's getting ready. It's full steam ahead. Let's get it going. You're gonna watch Argo tonight to see young Thunder in action. I mean, I wasn't that young. I was younger, but I wasn't that young. But it was a good one. That was a fun trip to Istanbul, Turkey. This is more days, but it's not quite as far. Appalachian Mountains are far, but not that far. Gary Holland with the exclamation point in the chat tonight. I'm really excited to see Josh Simmons. You and me both, my friend. You and me both. How excited are we? Yes, we're very excited. We're very excited because he's a monster. He's the piece we've been missing since Eric Fisher got hurt and left. And Schwartzy left the other side of the line. He's the piece that's not been there. The left tackle makes such a huge difference. If Patrick Mahomes cannot worry about his left side and just focus on from left guard across the field and not worry about right here, the difference is going to be night and day. You're just going to see an emergence. We're going to see an all-time year from 15 as Go Home puts out there for us. I don't think he's incorrect. And this could be just because of him, and I'd say Jalen Royals. Those two guys alone could make this one of Brett Veach's top 2 drafts. Because he's had some good ones. He's had some really great players in his drafting in his short time. What are my thoughts on this year's safety position? I played some free safety in college. I was a walk-on. I played linebacker and free safety, and on offense I was a tight end. So I was more like an H-back, but but in semi-pro I played a couple years at safety. I'm a little concerned. I did like what I saw out of Hicks in spot duty. Between Hicks and Connor, they're such different guys. Their size isn't immensely different, Chamari's 6'2", 202, and Jaden Hicks is 6'1", but he's got to be like 6'1" and 7/8. He seems like a 6'2", 220-pound safety. They have him listed at 215. He looks like a bigger man. Chamari's quick, fast, scoots, can play slot, can play some corner, plays safety really well. And then Brian Cook, if Brian Cook just keeps evolving the way he's been doing, I think our triumvirate, those three guys alone, I think we're in really good position with those guys. And then the other guys that we have, Jalen Watson can play some safety. He's a nice long guy. You're not going to put Fulton out there. Fulton and McDuffie are going to be locked in at corner for sure. But I think between Josh and Jalen, Josh Williams and Jalen Watson, either one of them could help out at the safety spot too. I mean, Spags is going to play a hybrid secondary anyway. He's not going to play straight corner secondary, straight safety secondary. Josh Simmons would have been the top 5 pick. If Josh Simmons was healthy, Josh Simmons should have been the first pick in the draft. I don't give a shit about position because quarterbacks take a minute to prove. Unless it was Patrick Mahomes. If Patrick Mahomes was coming out, I would still say Patrick Mahomes. I've got it pinned on my X account. You guys can look at it anytime you want. Seth Kaiser asked everybody what they thought his ceiling was, and I put it up there. And I had as close as anybody was to 50 and 5,000, and that's what he did his first year as a starter. But this year, the last couple of years, coming out in the draft, Josh Simmons would have been my number one. Josh Simmons, I haven't seen a guy tape that looked as dominant as his since Orlando Pace. We haven't had a tackle as dominant as he potentially could be. Now we got to see him do it long-term in the pros at this level. But his college tape projects to Willie Roaf-esque tackle level play. Like that's insane. That's a lot to live up to. He hasn't done anything yet. He hasn't played a single regular season game yet. He could go out and get embarrassed week 1. I don't think he's going to. I really don't think so. I think he's going to mess people up. I think he's going to get out there and Trent Williams like manhandle people, and they're going to go, oh shit, this kid's for real. Ouch. Okay, that's how that's going to be. Okay. Yeah, they just got rid of Joey Bosa, the Chargers. All right. Okay, come on. Let's go. What you got? It's going to be interesting. That left side should be locked down. Kingsley looked good at left guard when Simmons is in there, and Creed Humphrey, we got the best center in the league for my money. Right guard, we got one of the best guards, and then right tackle, is it going to be Moore? Is it going to be Taylor? Is it going to be a mix of the two? We'll see who can stay clean, who can not get penalties, who can do the job. But I think we're solid across the board. But left tackle is huge. McDuffie better inside or on the boundary? Good question. Who's he playing? Who's he up against? It matters. He's had trouble with excellent level, supreme level, long wideouts. Give him a hard time on the outside. Even in his older age, Keenan Allen was a problem for him because of his length. He showed us last year in some flashes. In most of his play, he was great, but there were some moments, some flashes of brilliance by opposing offenses. He made me miss Ladarius. He made me miss Snead last year. Snead's length and ability to run with anybody was something else. Like that's a huge loss that we have not replaced, as far as I'm concerned. If Christian Fulton comes in and balls out and plays the best football he's ever played, he's only 5'11", 197. We'll get 2 5'11" guys as our top 2 corners. Stud rookie out of USC, Chris Roland Wallace, also 5'11". We'll see. This is like, what, the second or third year now? We'll see how he does. I thought Watson and Williams were going to evolve into like starters. They're both long guys. They're both over 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". They look like they stepped back a little bit last year. So we'll see. And Watson's coming off an injury right now. So Williams just didn't look the same. Williams kind of reminds me, I think Williams is to the corner position what Willie Gay was to the linebacker position. When the main guy's out, he's not as effective. When Nick Bolton was out, Willie Gay wasn't as good. When Nick Bolton's in there and can lock things down and just lets Willie freelance, he's a lot more dangerous. Watson and Williams against the Bengals in that championship game, AFC championship game, were huge. They both came with interceptions because they had guys like Snead inside locking things down. So we'll see. We'll see. He did shut down Jamar Chase. He did. He shut down Jamar Chase, and he shut down Tyreek Hill. Like, literally check blocked him into next week in a playoff game, which was amazing. Are you talking about McDuffie on Charm, aren't you? Yeah, McDuffie gets in Chase's head, which I love. And that's a guy he should have problems with because of the size speed combo that he possesses. But he's immature, and McDuffie's not. So if you beat him a couple times, you start to tilt his brain a little bit the wrong way, and he can kind of get off track. So we'll see. Hopefully that'll happen again. Carl Loftus will have 15 sacks this year, says Gary Holland. I thought it was a question. It's clearly a statement, and I hope you are correct. And I say, why not? Why wouldn't he? Why couldn't he? Why shouldn't he? If July can play at all. If our defensive tackle position is shored up. Mike Pennell. I didn't see Mike Pennell's name on there. Did we not even get him back on the practice squad? Or is he just taking his usual, let me take 10 to 11 games off this season and stay in shape, and then you call me late in the season for the push? Which they seem to like to do with him, which is so weird. But hey, whatever works, man. I mean, if you want to take most of the season off and then get just enough games in to accrue another season of tenure, vesting time, profit sharing, whatever, do your thing, Mike Pennell. You're a beast. You deserved it. You own it. I know he's cut, yeah, but I'm just saying, will they bring him back later? We'll see. He's been on and off this roster so many times. People forget about him when we won our first Super Bowl with this group of guys, with Patrick and the crew. The two things that happened late in the season, everybody knows we added T-Sizzle, but we brought Mike Pennell up. We got Mike Pennell starting. And that game against Tennessee that year was when things kind of turned, and it was like undefeated the rest of the way. Lost that game we should have won. I was at that game. I saw 3 dead deer on the side of roadkill going from Kentucky. I was in Louisville, Kentucky at the time, to Tennessee to watch that game, and the refs just jacked us hard that game. It was Patrick's first game back. It was the crazy jump sideways pass to McCole Hardman, split 2 defenders and just went. And the guy goes, I thought Tyreek was down on the bottom. I go, he was. We got 2 of them. It was amazing. Do I like our undrafted rookie linebacker, Cooper McDonald, you're talking about? Yes, that kid looks like a beast. Reminds me of a lot of guys I played semi-pro with, and they are not to be played with. They're not to be messed with. Those guys do damage. Those guys make you think about how you play football and why you play football. 6'3", 240 pounds, and he can move. Rookie out of Texas Christian University. For perspective, Leo Chenal's 6'3", 250. Drew Tranquil 6'2", 234. So he's kind of like right in the middle of those 2 guys. Those 3 right there. I mean, plus him. We got Nick Bolton there, his little 5'11", 237 leadership self, and then Jeffrey Bossa played his butt off. He made the regular 53, 6'2", 235. Running a fast guy out of Oregon. I think he's the reason that who's the last one? Gosh, I'm doing a disservice. I forget the guy's name, the linebacker that got cut. That was a rookie last year. Smaller, fast guy. You know who I'm talking about? He's gone to another team already. He's not available to be brought back on the practice squad. Anyway, we had another fast, shorter guy, but he didn't make the cut because we had too many big, strong guys. I was kind of worried about our linebacking corps, but when Cooper stepped up and all the other guys are still there, I'm just like, this is just, we got longer and stronger, and we didn't lose speed. I think Jeffrey Bossa gives us a more cerebral Willie Gay. I think he's got that speed, but he's got coverage ability as well, and he plays with his head on a swivel. He's really looking at intelligently making plays versus just being a heat-seeking missile, which Willie Gay was great at. You're right. You're absolutely right. Go Holmes. Anyway, guys, it's been a great chat. We've been over an hour. I usually don't do these much longer than 40 minutes anymore. Maybe an hour if Hong's got the whole hour on a Wednesday night. But this was an important day. It was important news. I do love the graphics, the photoshops people put up of Micah Parsons in the green and gold 11 jersey. He looks great. Good for him. Happy for him. He's going to be a gajillionaire now. He's going to make a lot of money. A lot of Dallas fans are going to be unhappy. But to say that he's the difference in Green Bay is to say that, like I said, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, the other running backs they had, Kenny Galladay, and CeeDee Lamb, and the tight ends that they had, and Amari Cooper, and that O-line they had for a minute, And Dak, like, they were all holding him back from winning a championship. I don't think that's how that works. If you said who's more of an impactful player, Micah Parsons or Chris Jones, I don't think it's close. I think Chris Jones changes the defense. And even that said, if you had Chris Jones, I said this to a friend today, I said, he's a huge Raider fan, but he respects my Chiefs. He respects me as his friend, and we both talk football all the time. My buddy Casey, you've heard about him on the channel. He's the one who keeps sending me football cards. He's got another batch coming to me soon, and we're going to draft our fantasy league tomorrow. But if you get dropped, Chiefs Kingdom, this goes out to all you out there and everybody in the chat especially, if you got dropped into another universe, and they said you're going to this other universe, and you get your Kansas City Chiefs minus one player, and it's either Patrick Mahomes is gone or Chris Jones is gone. You only get to have one of them in this universe because you're being too greedy having them both here, which we kind of are. Who you got? And no offense to defense, but I'm taking Patrick Mahomes every time. Because I can win championships. If I have to, I think I can win championships with Patrick Mahomes, but without Chris Jones. I don't think I'm winning those same championships with Chris and no Patrick. Who's my quarterback? Do I get Joe Burrow or Josh Allen or something? No, they're on the same team. No, you're back to Alex Smith or whatever other guy we drafted along the way. Okay, I love Alex. We didn't win with Alex. Alex was here the same time as Patrick that last season. We did really well. We didn't win it all. Didn't get past those teams. We won't talk about that tonight because that's a bad tunnel to go down. But yeah, I think defensive players can be great additions. They can really impact your team. 2 or 3 really solid defensive players can change your entire defense and change the outcome of your season if they can stop people that other people wouldn't stop. But if you don't have Patrick Mahomes, if you don't have a Josh Allen, if you don't have a Joe Burrow, if you don't have the tush push / Jalen Hurts / Saquon Barkley, he needs a team around him. Jalen Hurts still needs that bunch of guys around him to make that stuff happen, to draw attention away from him so that he can operate. Patrick Mahomes doesn't need that. He just needs a second. He needs a couple seconds to get that ball to deliberate who it's going to. If you don't have that primo quarterback, your chances drop precipitously of getting to the Super Bowl, let alone winning it. So, call me crazy. I think the Cowboys in the next 2 or 3 years could be serious contenders to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl and to be the next team, maybe 2 seasons from now, to lose the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs. And with that, I'll say goodnight. I'll say thank you. And as always, I'll say, what's that phrase again? I always forget. It's only 2 words. Oh, yeah. Go Chiefs. Great stuff, guys. Thank you so much. Had a lot of fun. Let's get a little football music in there. It's going to be Friday night, right? Are they calling it a Sunday night football game? It's on YouTube. What's it considered? I need to give you guys the music on the way out here. It's on YouTube. It's not really Fox or any of those channels. Does YouTube have their own music now? I'm going to give them Fox. What the hell? Wait, it's 2 AFC teams. It should be CBS.